G'day YouTubers, and today I will be doing my tips for round 14 of the season. We'll have a quick look at last week and how we all went. I may have gone from 20th to 19th. Got 5 out of 8, so relatively on par if I go by the round average. But if we have a look at the top of the table, we've got Zaki2323, Maka0303 right on top of the table, just about all square there. I think there's about 26 points difference all in all. So yes, very, very close near the top of the table. And we've also got Jetar sitting at 82. I don't know what I'm on, but I do need to get on my bike here and make some moves and just try and stay within contention. Thursday night game we've got at Marvel Stadium, 7:30. We've got St Kilda hosting the Western Bulldogs. The Saints, how did they go? They might have had the bye last week. I'm pretty sure they did. They most recently defeated Melbourne. I'm pretty sure, they had the bye because Melbourne played Collingwood. The Western Bulldogs, disappointing against the Hawks, but the Hawks were very well fired up and probably would have beaten most teams with the way they play. I'm happy to go with the Western Bulldogs here. We'll go 25 points. I just think I think Darcy's back. That'll be a massive in for them. Just feel like, they're more accomplished, generally play relatively well against the Saints. And, I think they're the better side. We'll get the job done. Now we go over to the Friday night game and Hawthorn hosting Adelaide at UTAS Stadium. I'll be very interested to see how the conditions go here. Hawthorn had, as mentioned before, a pretty good win over the Western Bulldogs. Adelaide won in a clincher against the Lions, won by 5 points in what was a classic 5-goal last quarter to get them across the line while the Lions kicked 8 points. Having said that, though, I reckon Hawthorn will be too good here. We'll get the job done. They're obviously top 6, top 8 side. They're tough to beat. They're home ground. They don't lose too many games down in Tassie. Understandably, Adelaide going really well. Just think, Hawthorn starting to get back to some of their better form. I think the Crows, might just have a little dip. And, it's going to be a very tough game for them to get up for again. But if they can win it, look out. Look out. It's a massive game. Another massive game we've got, as we move into the Saturday games, we've got Brisbane hosting the GWS Giants at the Gabba. Just mentioned before, the Lions went down to the Crows by 5 points after leading the Crows. I think it was about 17 points in the end. Weren't able to go on with it in that final term. And we go over to the Giants, who have been pretty disappointing of late. It's hard to get a good read on them. They've lost to it, 1-2, lost 2 out of the last 4. They went down to the Power of 16 points in the end. So, it's in their home state. I think the Giants got the job done over the Lions last time they played at the Gabba, but I don't think it's going to be that way this time. I'm expecting the Lions to bounce back pretty hard. They've had an interesting month, 5 weeks, a couple of losses, a draw, and a couple of wins. I suspect they'll flex their muscle here and be too strong for the Giants. They've got to respond and get... Well, it's funny. They don't really have to get moving from a ladder perspective. They're winning. They probably want a bit more percentage and just a bit more continuity with their footy. So, it's kind of funny. It felt like they were they're playing a lot worse than a second base side. So, anyway. They won games early without playing well, and it's catching up to them a little bit, but they'll be okay. They'll know when to really get the whips cracking, which will be closer to towards September. Saturday Arvo game, we've got Essendon, and they're hosting the Cats, MCG. Essendon were quite gallant in their performance against the Blues. Had a really good fortnight without getting the win, without getting the 4 points, but a lot of plays out of the side, and they've been really competitive off the back of that. Geelong, pretty professional win at home, defeating the Suns for the 8th time in a row in Geelong. So, that was a bit of I saw that game. I don't think there was too many positive games to watch over the weekend, albeit a couple of close finishes. I expect Geelong to get the job done. I think they'll be... they should be fine. I mean, only they can beat themselves, really. But I mean, having said that, I suspect it will be challenging at times throughout the game. The Bombers have been, pretty plucky the last couple of weeks against some pretty decent teams. And no doubt, I think Geelong will have their work cut out. Certainly not a lay-down misere by any means. Balance of probabilities, Geelong to get the job done. We'll see how we go. Bailey Smith gets back. But all to be revealed. We then move over to Optus Stadium and North Melbourne selling their one of their games to over in the West. So North Melbourne hosting Fremantle. North got the chocolates over the Eagles in a pretty ugly game. One of the worst first halves you'll ever see, considering the conditions were perfect. But unfortunately, the two bottom sides play. But yeah, got the job done and over the line against the Eagles. The Dockers, I'm pretty sure they had the bye. I don't recall seeing them play. Gold Coast was their last win, so they had the bye. I'll be tipping North. No, I won't be. I'll be tipping Fremantle to get the win there, being that's at home for them. They'll be fresh off the bye. They're slowly turning the cogs and playing the way the game should be played. We then move over to Sunday games. We've got Port Adelaide, hosting Melbourne. Really good win from Port Adelaide over the GWS Giants away from home in a pretty gritty win. The D's did everything right. Well, up until probably the last 5 minutes of the game, and they had a couple of blues, but they lost to the Pies by a point. They were super. Yeah, they were super all day. Just couldn't get the job done. I'm going to go to the D's here. I don't trust Port Adelaide enough to be able to string together multiple games. They lost 4 in a row before that game. They're really good at the emotional response. They are keen to, obviously, they say that they want the second half of the year to be, keep Ken in it and, play for Ken. That's great, but they're too inconsistent for mine, and the difference between their best and worst is too large. I think, D's they're pretty strong in the coalface, and I reckon, they'll be on their way to another win. A little bit of an upset, as you can see. Last game of the round, we've got West Coast, and they are hosting Carlton. This one will be at Optus Stadium. West Coast, they went down to North Melbourne. They had 39 inside 50s in that first half. Couldn't get their bang for buck on that one. Carlton, strong start, and was probably the difference in the game over the Bombers, kicking 6 goals in the opening term, ending up winning by 8 points and hanging on after Bombers charge back. I think I gave faith in the Eagles last year, late in the year, and Carlton absolutely demolished them without Kerno Mackay, and I think they had 5 or 6 of their best players out, and they still demolished the Eagles. With that logic in mind, and I mean, Eagles have improved a little bit since that, and no doubt they'll be better. I'm all in on Carlton getting the job done here. They're pretty lucky they get to play West Coast and North Melbourne twice every year and sneak into the finals, but anyway. Collingwood, Gold Coast and Richmond alongside Sydney have the bye this week. So if we go through the games now, I have picked the Western Bulldogs by 25 points, Hawthorn, Brisbane, Geelong, Fremantle, the D's in a bit of an upset, and then Carlton to round out round 14. All right, that's all from me, folks. Hope you enjoyed. Let me know down in the comments below who you think's going to win. Give the video a like if you enjoyed the picks that I had this week. Thanks for tuning in. Appreciate it. Have a good one, guys. I'll catch you on the next video.